You had it. You know you did. There was a moment, maybe a week, maybe a few days where everything just clicked. You were getting things done without forcing it, without the usual mental battle. And then it just stopped. And you have no idea why. Not what you did wrong, not what changed. Just one day you had momentum and then you didn't. And you've been trying to get it back ever since. Here's what that usually looks like. You start a new week with genuine intention. You have a plan. Maybe you've written it down. Things feel possible. And then something small happens. An unexpected task, a bad night's sleep, a conversation that knocked your energy, a day that just didn't go how you needed it to, and suddenly the plan feels fragile. The intention is still there, but something's shifted. The ease is gone, and here's the thing that trips most people up. They assume they need to restart, reset the plan, build the routine again from scratch, start fresh on Monday. So they do. And they get a few good days, and then they lose it again. And the cycle continues. Not for weeks, for months, for years. The same cycle. Momentum, loss, reset, repeat. Let me describe what this actually feels like from the inside. When you have momentum, and I mean real momentum, not just a busy day, there's a quality to the work that feels different. Tasks feel connected. One thing leads naturally to the next. You're not checking your phone every 8 minutes. You're not negotiating with yourself just to open a document. It feels almost effortless, not because the work is easy, but because the resistance has gone quiet. So here's the part nobody really talks about. When you lose it, the absence of momentum doesn't feel neutral. It feels like evidence. Evidence that you're not the person you thought you were, that the productive version of you was temporary, a fluke, not the real you. And that story, that quiet story your brain tells you, is one of the most damaging things about losing momentum. It's not just that you stopped moving forward, it's that stopping becomes proof of something. And I want to challenge that directly because it's not true. And more importantly, it's not useful. So if losing momentum isn't evidence of failure, what is it actually? Most people assume momentum is about motivation, that when you have it, you're motivated. When you don't, you're not. Simple equation, right? But that's not what the research shows. Momentum isn't a feeling, it's a state. And like any state, it has specific conditions that create it and specific conditions that destroy it. And here's what almost nobody understands. The thing that destroys your momentum most of the time isn't what you think it is. It's not a lack of discipline. It's not a lack of motivation. It's something much more specific and much more fixable. Here's what's actually happening. Momentum, psychological momentum, is built through completion. Not through planning, not through intention, through finishing things. Every time you complete a task, even a small one, your brain releases dopamine. A signal that says, that worked, do it again. That signal is what momentum actually is, a run of completions that builds on itself, each one making the next one slightly easier. And here's where this gets really fascinating, because the opposite is also true. Every time you start something and don't finish it, every time you carry a task forward to tomorrow, every time you hold an intention without acting on it, your brain keeps that loop open. And open loops are expensive. They run in the background. They consume cognitive bandwidth. They create a low-level hum of unfinished business that sits under everything you're trying to do. And here's the critical thing. When enough of these loops are open simultaneously, your brain doesn't slow down gradually. It hits a threshold and it shuts the whole system down. That's not a lack of motivation. That's cognitive overload, and it feels exactly like losing momentum. So why does this happen without warning? Why does momentum feel fine one day and completely gone the next? Because the open loops don't announce themselves. They accumulate quietly. A conversation you haven't had yet, a decision you've been putting off, a task that's been sitting on your list for 2 weeks, an email you opened and didn't reply to, a commitment you made that no longer feels right. None of those feel urgent. Individually, they feel manageable. But here's the real problem. They don't stay individual. They stack. And because they stack silently, you don't notice the weight building. You just notice that one day everything feels heavier than it should. The tasks that were easy last week now feel like they require something you don't have access to. That's not a character flaw, that's a bandwidth problem, and bandwidth problems have solutions. This is exactly the pattern I kept hitting before I built a system to address it. Not a productivity system, a reset system. That distinction really matters because a productivity system tells you how to do more. A reset system tells you how to recover when the doing stops working. I built the momentum reset method specifically for this. The second pillar, the overwhelm audit, is a structured process of finding and closing the open loops that are silently draining your bandwidth, not through more planning, through deliberate closure. And the sixth pillar, the 15-minute momentum sprint, is designed to rebuild the completion signal when the whole system has gone quiet. Small completions, deliberate ones, stacked until the momentum starts to come back. Because momentum isn't something you find, it's something you rebuild. And you rebuild it the same way every time, one closed loop at a time. Let's keep going, because there's one more layer to this. Here's the reframe I want you to take from this video. Losing momentum is not failure. It's a signal. It's your cognitive system telling you that something needs to be closed before you can move forward cleanly. And when you hear it that way, when you stop treating it as evidence of weakness and start treating it as information, everything changes. Because now the question isn't, what's wrong with me? The question is, what's open that needs to be closed? That's a solvable question. The first one isn't, and this is going to change your entire recovery process. Instead of trying to motivate yourself back into action, which almost never works, you audit, you find what's open, you close it, or you consciously decide to let it go. And then, and only then, you start building again. So here's what this looks like practically. The next time you feel momentum slipping or notice it's already gone, don't reach for a new plan. Do this instead. Step 1, do a quick open loop inventory. Write down, not in your head, physically write down everything that's unresolved. Unfinished tasks, pending decisions, conversations you've been avoiding, commitments that are sitting in the back of your mind, all of it. Don't try to solve any of it yet, just get it out of your head and onto something external. Because your brain can't tell the difference between a problem that needs solving and a problem that's been captured. Capture it and the cognitive load drops immediately. Step 2, close or decide. Go through the list. For each item, one of 3 things. Do it. If it takes less than 15 minutes, just do it now. Decide. If it needs a decision, make the decision. Imperfectly, if necessary, drop it. If it no longer actually matters, let it go. Consciously, deliberately. The goal isn't a perfect list. The goal is a lighter head. Step 3, rebuild with a single completion. Not a full day's work, not a new system. One task, 15 minutes, something with a clear, defined endpoint. Do it. Finish it, acknowledge that you finished it. That single completion is the first brick. And momentum is just bricks, stacked one at a time. Here's what I've come to understand about momentum. We treat it like weather, something that arrives and departs beyond our control, something we wait for. But momentum is more like a fire. It needs specific conditions to burn, and when it goes out, it doesn't mean you failed. It means the conditions changed. Your job isn't to keep the fire burning forever. That's not possible. Your job is to know how to relight it fast, deliberately, without the drama of wondering whether you've lost it for good, because you haven't. You never do. If this gave you a different way of looking at it, there's a free procrastination reset guide in the description. It's a simple 4-step process for the exact moment that momentum goes quiet and you don't know where to start. No system to learn, no habit to build, just a clear way back in. Link is below. And if any of this resonated, you're not losing momentum because something is wrong with you. You're losing it because you're human, and humans need a recovery process, not just a productivity one. Subscribe to my channel if you want more of this. That's what this channel is for. Now, there's something I want to flag before you go, because there's a version of everything I just said that people use against themselves. They do the audit, they close the loops, they do the 15-minute sprint, and then they spend the next 2 hours planning how to make tomorrow even better. That's not recovery. That's a different kind of avoidance, and it's one of the most common traps that smart, self-aware people fall into. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like, why it feels so productive while it's happening, and how to catch it before it costs you another week. Watch this next.